Hello everyone. Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, The Meowing Detective. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. In the bustling city of Whiskerville, there lived a cat like no other. His name was Detective Whiskers, and he was known for two things: his unmatched ability to solve the most puzzling mysteries, and his extremely loud and often rather dramatic meows. When it came to solving problems, Detective Whiskers was always on the case. Whether it was a missing sock or a suspiciously empty food bowl, no problem was too small or too silly for him to investigate. One bright morning, as the sun streamed through the window of his small office, Detective Whiskers was enjoying his daily routine of grooming his tail when his phone rang. The phone, a vintage rotary model that had seen better days, let out a dramatic ring that echoed through the office. With a quick swipe of his paw, Detective Whiskers picked up the receiver. Detective Whiskers speaking. "Who's causing trouble today?" He meowed confidently. A shaky voice on the other end replied, Detective? I need your help. It's about my tuna fish." Whiskers' ears perked up. Tuna fish? Now that was a case worth investigating. He stood up, flicked his tail in dramatic fashion, and began pacing around his office. "Tell me everything," he meowed. The voice continued. "Well, I've been buying tuna for weeks, and every time I go in my pantry, it's gone. I'm absolutely sure no one else is eating it. I need you to find out who's taking it." Whiskers paused, his eyes narrowing. A thief stealing tuna? This was the work of a master criminal, indeed. "Don't worry, dear client. I'll crack this case wide open." Detective Whiskers arrived at the client's home, a cozy little apartment in the middle of the city. The first thing he noticed as he entered was the smell of freshly made tuna, his favorite scent. He muttered. The tuna thief clearly has good taste. The client, a fluffy tabby named Misty, led him to the pantry, where the tuna was supposed to be stored. Whiskers inspected the shelves, pawing through bags of dry food and cans of wet food. "Interesting," he murmured to himself, his whiskers twitching. No sign of forced entry, but the tuna is missing. Where did it go? Misty nervously shifted her paws. "I swear I haven't touched it. I even put up a sign that says, 'Do not disturb the tuna.'" Whiskers inspected the pantry from top to bottom, sniffing around the shelves. This is tricky," he mused. "A very sneaky culprit." Suddenly, Whiskers froze. There, behind a jar of catnip, was a small trail of fishy crumbs leading out of the pantry. He followed the trail, his keen detective instincts kicking in. The crumbs led him down the hallway, past the couch, and into the living room, where he stopped in front of the curtains. With a mighty leap, Whiskers jumped onto the windowsill and carefully pulled back the curtain with his paw. There, sitting on the windowsill and licking his paws, was the prime suspect. A squirrel. Whiskers shouted, causing Misty to jump back in surprise. "I knew it. The tuna thief is none other than this crafty little squirrel." The squirrel, who had been enjoying a delicious tuna snack, looked up innocently. Misty blinked in confusion. "But how did the squirrel get in here? The windows are closed." Whiskers gave her a knowing look. "It's not about the windows, my dear. It's about the tuna. The squirrel knew it was here and decided to outsmart you." Misty raised an eyebrow. "But how could he even open the pantry?" With a dramatic meow, Detective Whiskers pointed to the small crack in the pantry door. "Look closely, Misty. A squirrel like this doesn't need much room to squeeze through. It's a classic case of a criminal using his tiny, nimble body to gain access to the prize." Misty gasped. "So, the squirrel's been sneaking in and stealing my tuna?" "Precisely," Whiskers said. "And this wasn't just an ordinary theft. No, this was a sophisticated, long-term operation. The squirrel has been planning this for weeks." Whiskers took a moment to bask in the glory of his detective skills. "Now, we'll have to teach this furry bandit a lesson in manners," he said with a sly grin. The squirrel, having listened to Whiskers' entire monologue, stood up and shook his head. Wait, hold on a minute," the squirrel said, in a surprisingly calm voice. "This isn't what it looks like." Whiskers stared at the squirrel in disbelief. "What do you mean? You've been stealing tuna for weeks." The squirrel sighed and put down the can of tuna he had been holding. I wasn't stealing the tuna for myself. I was delivering it. Whisker's ears twitched. Delivering? To whom? The squirrel scratched his head. Well, I'm a delivery squirrel. You see, there's a whole underground network of pets in the neighborhood who order tuna, and I've been making deliveries for them. They pay me in extra snacks. Misty looked baffled. So, you're not a criminal? Of course not, the squirrel exclaimed. I'm just doing my job. I thought the tuna would be safe here, but I didn't realize you were keeping such a large stash. Whiskers, ever the professional, thought for a moment. This is a twist worthy of a true detective. It seems the real crime here was my assumption. He paused, then meowed with a dramatic flair. But we can't have unauthorized tuna deliveries in my city. No, not on my watch. Misty giggled. So what now? Whiskers narrowed his eyes and grinned. Well, I think it's time for some proper negotiations. He turned to the squirrel. You can keep delivering tuna, under one condition. The squirrel looked up nervously. What's that? From now on, Whiskers said with a sly smile, you deliver extra tuna to me, and I'll let you off the hook. The squirrel hesitated, then shrugged. Deal. As Whiskers strutted out of Misty's apartment, he felt a sense of satisfaction that only the most famous detectives could understand. It had been a tricky case, but he'd solved it, with a little help from his very loud, very dramatic meows. Another case closed, he declared triumphantly, as the sound of his meow echoed through the streets of Whiskerville. And so, Detective Whiskers returned to his office, ready for the next case and the next tuna delivery.